Students, will go to the next topic of epidermis. Okay, now if you see this diagram yesterday which we saw, the outermost layer of the stem, can you see this is the epidermis, this layer. Okay, so today we are going to study this layer. Now the outermost layer of cells is called as epidermis. This epidermis is usually single layer. So if you can see this diagram, it's only of one single layer of cell. Okay. Now in some plants where there is dry habitat, this epidermis may be thicker because it has to conserve the water. Okay, so water loss is very important there, it is very critical. Okay, so the cells may be thicker and the entire surface of plant might have an outer covering. Okay, so this epidermis also protects the parts of the plant. Okay, now the epidermal cells are on the aerial parts. Aerial parts means they are exposed to the atmosphere because it's the outermost part. Okay, and sometimes they secrete a waxy or water resistant layer to their outermost surface. Now what happens when there's a layer outside the epidermis? This aids or this helps in protection against the loss of water or any mechanical injury or any evasion, okay, or attack by parasitic fungi. These all things, okay, are prevented by this layer outside the epidermis. Okay, so it has a protective role to play. The cells of the epidermal tissue are continuous without any intercellular spaces. So if you see, these are continuous, there is no space in between. Okay. Now most of the epidermal cells are relatively flat, okay, and the outermost and the side walls are thicker than the inner wall. Okay, so the outermost layer, this you can see this layer, outermost layer, outermost wall and the innermost wall. In that the outermost wall is thicker than the innermost wall. Okay. Now here these are the characteristics. See, this and this are the characteristics of epidermal cells. Okay. Now in the epidermis we have some certain small pores, especially in the leaves. Okay, and they are known as stomata. Now these stomatas are enclosed by two kidney shaped cells known as guard cells. See, if you can see this figure 6.5 here, this is the epidermis and these are the guard cells and this is the stomata. You can have this view, that is the surface view. This is the lateral view, this is the surface view. Here you have got guard cells, this is the stomata. Okay, so see, it's like this is the epidermis, you've got here guard cells and this is the stomata, this is the opening. Okay, now these are necessary for exchange of gases like carbon dioxide and oxygen from the atmosphere, and also for transpiration, that is it controls the loss of water in form of water vapor. Okay, now turn the page. Now these epidermal cells are also found in roots. Okay, now the function here is to water absorption, and they bear a long hair-like parts. You can have seen root hairs, right? This greatly increase the total absorptive surface area. So more absorption of water can take place because of this. Okay, now in some plants which grow in desert, okay, the epidermis has a thick waxy coating that is made up of cutin. Okay, there's a question asked, can you think of for why it is? Because to prevent the loss of water, okay, and also to protect them from heat. Okay, so the waxy coating here is made up of cutin. Okay, now there are some other plants which grow older. As they grow older, if you see in the stem or the trunk, changes. Okay, now here what changes are there? You can have a secondary meristem which forms a cortex. Now what is a cortex? The cortex is a layer of cells which are made up of cork. Okay, now what are cork? These cells are dead cells and they are very compactly arranged without intercellular spaces. They are known as cork cells. Okay, they have a substance called as suberin, okay, in their walls that makes them impervious to gases and water, so does not allow much exchange of gases. They controlled flow of gases and water. So if you can see, these are the cork cells. Okay, and this is a ruptured epidermis. If you see the bark of a tree, you can see that there are some places it is broken like this, and these are the cork cells. Okay, and it's a protective tissue. So these are the characteristics of cork cell. Thank you.